Hey everyone, Toughmonkey here. Well, I'm sitting over in the corner, which can only mean one thing. New track time! Look at that. It's Whilton Mill and, oh, look, they've got their own corner names. Oh, that's fascinating. Anyway, track guide time. Whilton Mill. So it's another new circuit to Street Kart, but if you're in the UK karting scene, you'll know Whilton Mill pretty well. Except me, actually. I've never driven there. I've driven pretty much every other circuit in the UK, but never Whilton Mill. So I'll finally get a chance to go around it. Okay, right, the tutorial. Usual score. We'll do a Google Earth flyby over there so you can see what the corners look like in real life. You'll have a extra couple of laps to familiarise yourself with the circuit, and then at the end I shall do the old split screen of PRJ versus X30. In one corner you'll have the Bumblebee yellow CRG, which is CRG, that's right. Pretty well tricked out with everything up to and including the IAME used engine. At the time of filming it, that's all I had available, which is what most people have available. I'll have since upgraded it to the standard Perilla engine, and hopefully by the time the World Final starts, I'll have the Perilla Works. That'll also have, I'm reading off the screen because I always forget, the SK Works radiator, Firebird level 4 exhaust, 100 octane fuel and LeConte softs. In the other top corner there will be the Zanardi L1. That's totally stock, as if it got promoted into PRJ yesterday, and it'll be running the 90 fuel and the medium compound tyres. Down in the bottom two corners you'll have CRG Blue in X30, which will be pretty well tricked out with everything that's the best for that particular brand, which is AF radiator, Remo engine, it'll be Firebird level 4 exhaust, and it'll be running 98 octane fuel and super soft tyres. And in the bottom other corner it'll be the what kart will it be? It'll be the Monaco U's level 1, again as if you just got graduated into the tier. Totally stock. It'll be running 90 octane fuel and the medium compound tyres, so totally stock, and you'll be able to see the speed differences between them. Right, let's get on with the action, shall we? One last thing, you'll also want to know what the settings of the kart will be. As always, they're completely stock with me. I always have plus 0.018 for seat position and 0.15 for seat height. That's across the board. That's what I always do. I'll only ever tweak when I'm really looking for those final few thousandths of a second in some major event, like the World Championship, which is what I'm going to do. Temperature-wise, it would have been 10 degrees, which means I would have had the tyres at 10.2 and 10.15 for the rears. For the medium compound, it would have been 14.2 and 14.15 for the rears. Again, that's what's suitable for me with my settings at that temperature, but when I'm going looking for those last few tenths, I might tweak it one way or another. But at 10 degrees, these will be pretty decent times. Right, let's have another go. Okay, the start of our first flying lap at Whilton Mill. You want to come off that final curve taking as much speed as you possibly can. Use all the curb you can just here. And we need to make sure we're back over to the right hand side of the circuit as we cross the finish line. We need an early turn into the first corner. We're almost aiming to hit the cone on the left hand side. Take a lot of curb into this first corner, and then almost immediately we're turning right, trying to aim for the tyre wall on the right hand side. Open the steering wheel as soon as you can and run out wide. There are a number of places at Whilton Mill where you can take an obscene amount of curb. This is one of them. Be careful with how much curb you take here. It can unsettle the car and even drag it around to the right and launch you over the barrier on the right hand side. Get over to the left hand side of the circuit and then we're into a hugely important corner. Spot your braking zone. You need to brake early. I brake just before the marshal's post on the left hand side. You do not want to run deep into this corner. We're aiming to hug this cone on the right hand side. Skip across the curb and keep a tight line, then open up the steering and get the power down early. If you've run too deep in that last corner, out to the left hand side there, you've compromised your line into the next corner. You may even have to lift off as you go through the left-hander. You should be flat out through this left-right section. Depending on your line, you may skip over the curb here. If you do, you may have to lift off the throttle ever so slightly to stop the kart from bouncing. A big stop coming up here. You need to be on the brakes very early. It comes at you so quickly. You can easily run too deep and compromise your exit to this very tight right-hander. If you can take a tight line through here, almost clipping that cone, then you can get back on the throttle early. But if you do go deep, it's not the end of the world. This is another corner that's got a prodigious runoff area. If you need to, then use it. Get back over to the right hand side, but don't clip this grass on the right hand side. There's a bit of a bump on it and it will unsettle the kart. The next corner does come at you quickly, but you don't want to turn in too early. The curb will unsettle the kart again. This is a tricky corner. The kart's unsettled. There's a lot going on here. If you hit that red and white curb, it's going to unsettle the kart, and if you hit the grass after the runoff there, it's going to unsettle the kart again. This next corner is deceptive. If you brake too late, you'll run deep and lose speed. However, if you turn in too early, the corner tightens and you'll end up sliding out wide into the waiting arms of a load of cones. You can get the right hand side of the kart over this curb here and it'll pull you around and then stay on the right hand side of the circuit all the way down to the next corner. It's a very important corner coming up. What you do here impacts the last few corners of the lap. You need to spot your braking zone. I brake the very second I hit this curb on the right hand side. Take all the curb you can here. I'm aiming for that third cone. I just want to skirt around the edge of it because that will give you the best line into the last couple of corners. Keep tight around this corner, but watch those tyres on the right hand side. They will grab you. And then we're trying to open up the steering as much as we can to allow the kart to accelerate fully. It's trying to bog down here. Up to the last corner, and it's another important one. Turn in early. I'm aiming for that first cone. It should skip across the curb and then let it run out wide. If you need to, lift off the throttle. That will stabilise the kart. And that's your first flying lap of Whilton Mill. There's 2 more laps coming up. Listen to the engine note, listen to where I'm braking, listen to how I'm feathering the throttle and trying to minimise any wheel slip. And now, as promised, PRJ versus X30. So that's Whilton Mill. I think you'll agree, a fantastic circuit, and I'm looking forward to running it in the World Finals. If you've got any questions, down there on YouTube, Facebook and Instagram, like, comment and subscribe. It really does help us out. That's to Street Kart and to the Toughmonkeys channel. But good luck in the World Finals, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ta.